Ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between, it is time for another of Offy-D's classic news videos. It's the news video for summer 2017. Last one was in autumn 2016. Been many a season since we last had some news, but it is time for some news indeed. And in these news videos, we're going to be seeing some unrelated footage, most likely. So don't actually worry about watching it. Audio only for the most part. And yeah, basically I'm going to put the most important news at the front because I'm a generous man, so feel free to leave once you've had your fill of the channel's news. So let's get started, moving right on to the first news item without further ado. Although to add a little bit of ado, I hate the phrase without further ado. I don't know why. I think it's just because every time someone says it, what they mean is nothing. Like the phrase without further ado can usually be replaced with nothing at all. Like just actually move on to the point, like put a full stop. I recognise that I am being hypocritical with this statement. It's very meta. So anyway, news item number 1. New series plans. So Naraka's Treasure came to an end this time last week, and we are going to have a new series to replace it. Now, I've actually already started making the new series to replace it. In fact, I started making it quite a long time ago. It was meant to be the series that will replace Fields of Mars, but Fields of Mars has spiraled out of control with 10 episodes in which nothing happened, so that's never going to end. So now it's going to replace Naraka's Treasure. Now, this series actually happens to be a little bit similar to Naraka's Treasure, in that it is another Sengoku Jidai Japan theme series. We're going to be playing Shogun 2 as the Otomo, using the Master of Strategy mod. Now this is a combination of various sort of popular requests that have come along. I say popular requests, I mean the requests have been scattered all over the place, but this was just one that happened to be requested, slightly more than the billion other things being requested. So it's also something I wanted to do basically. So I tried playing the Master of Strategy mod and I was like, wow, this is really good, this is a really fun campaign. And yeah, Shogun 2 is where this channel started really, so we're going to be going back to it, and it's also my favourite of the Total War games, so that's why I'm sort of interested to do it. So I've started making it, and that's probably going to start coming out in about 2 weeks, and I don't know, I guess I won't say too much more about it now. I was kind of thinking of experimenting with changing the style up a little bit, maybe having like more shorter narrative sequences and having them be over gameplay more rather than be so much of a cutaway. I don't really know how that's going to work because I haven't actually tried to do that style yet, but maybe it'll be slightly different in style from Fields of Mars, maybe it will be exactly the same. Either way, it's coming soon, and hopefully it will be good. I've already filmed like the first 100 turns, so we've got some pretty good strategy, I know, coming up and loads of cool battles to show off. So that's the next series. Any questions about that, etc., feel free to launch them at me in the comments. Now, Fields of Mars, if that ever manages to end, that will be replaced probably by a vote, I think. We'll probably come up with a list of possible interesting campaigns, and basically just put it to the vote, which we've done a couple of times before on the channel, to decide where we're going to go next. And it'll probably be a vote that doesn't include things from Attila or Shogun 2, since Shogun 2 will already be ongoing at that point, and Attila will have just been done. Also, Warhammer 2 might be out by that time, in fact it probably will be, so that may also be an option. I was thinking of possibly doing the High Elves in Warhammer 2. I kind of have to play it to find out if that will really work, and there's the other sort of thing to consider is that making it right after it comes out, while in terms of YouTube meta is the best idea, in terms of series quality it may not be, because they're probably going to add a bunch more stuff to make the elves better throughout the release cycle of Warhammer 2, so doing it at the end is kind of the ideal point to do it. But anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, and by cross I mean place explosive charges on and destroy and pretend it wasn't me who destroyed it. That's probably what's going to happen. Now, alongside making this Shogun 2 series, because Naraka's Treasure actually took quite a lot of time to make each week, I reckon I'll end up having enough free time to make 2 or 1.5 new series videos per week, or more like serious series videos. So yeah, there's an open question here. What do I do as well as the Shogun 2 campaign? Now, I was originally thinking what I could do now is come back to the Truth series. At the end of the Tapestry of Truth comedy series for Age of Empires 2, I hinted that there would be some more, and there is indeed some more planned. a little pirate adventure, perhaps filled with sea shanties. Yeah, that was something I was pretty interested in doing. But then more recently, I was thinking actually we need to do some YouTube meta. We need to do some YouTube meta because Naraka's Treasure was very un-meta friendly. It was like in commercial terms an absolute failure. In that it took an extremely long time to make, but didn't perform particularly differently to other videos. So I'm like, I need to counterbalance that, because that's probably been shooting myself in the foot for the last year plus. So maybe now I should make a series that's like the opposite. So basically like This Is Content, where it's just videos that are aiming to play YouTube correctly and kind of do this professionally and do it in the way that YouTube wants you to do it. But obviously I'm already making This Is Content. I don't want to just make loads more of that. So I was thinking of something which is basically like an NLP, but without the N. But it's not just an LP. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't. Let's explore that together, shall we, children? So basically I'm thinking, you know, like an NLP has the gameplay commentary segments, obviously, where it's post-commentated, so commentating after the recording, commentating over an already edited recording. Basically that bit of narrative Let's Plays, but that's the whole video, and there's a series of videos that are like that. Basically I think it would just be quick to make something like that, like to not have to write things and to not have to do extra editing. Might mean I could make like 2 of those per week, so we'd have, so replacing Naraka's Treasure would become like an episode a week of the Ultimo campaign in full narrative mode, and then like 2 episodes of just gameplay, like just a Let's Play. So it's just a Let's Play, but it's a post-commentary, edited Let's Play. The 2 kind of big things, the big paths to making a Let's Play not be bad is post-commentary and editing. So doing that, and yeah, basically having it be a gameplay-focused Let's Play series rather than This Is Content's kind of live, quick, entertainment-focused series. And the question is, does that sound at all good? That's the question going on in my mind as well. So do leave your thoughts. The one thing that concerns me about that idea is the potential that it'll just seem like it's worse than a narrative Let's Play. Like, it'll be close enough in style to it that it'll just invite a negative comparison, and people will just say, why are you doing it this worse than your usual series, and not necessarily realizing it's like a time constraint based thing, or that it wasn't an either or, it was this or nothing, that sort of thing, which has happened a couple of times with This Is Content, where people might wonder, why are you doing a This Is Content on this game rather than a proper like treatment like you usually do? And it's just because, you know, the comparison is invalid is the reason. It's like saying, why did you go to the shops rather than climb Mount Everest? Like, they're things that happen on completely different time scales. So that, you know, that might come up quite a lot more with this idea, which might lead people to just feel disappointed by it. I don't know if that's true, but you know, why don't you write in the comments, and I guess I'll probably try it anyway. What I was thinking of doing is playing Divide et Impera for Rome 2, the substantial mod series. There's actually a fly going around the monitor, there we go. And yeah, I was thinking of playing as Ethiopia in Divide et Impera. That was the idea I had for trying this out, just because it could be interesting, a little bit different, and may invite some interesting gameplay, especially with all the new things that the mod brings in, to give some good material for a gameplay focused Let's Play, with a priority on editing and keeping it snappy and using post commentary to make sure the commentary is actually good and true and, you know, insightful, useful, entertaining even. So that's that. And the kind of last sideline idea for the gaps would be something that I mentioned in a previous news video, which is doing a kind of podcast style thing in something like a Paradox game or Civilization, where it's videos that basically stand alone on their audio, and it's basically entirely scripted, serious narrative. So like writing a fake history based on what happened in the campaign of the game. And that's kind of a similar thing, where that would be super long to make and be a really bad idea in terms of YouTube meta. So again, I'm thinking, well, we need to kind of rebalance the channel and go back into good ideas, even though like that's the idea I'd rather do. It's one of these things. It's the annoying trade-off of how YouTube works right now, and probably how it will always work. But the idea's there. What I might do is to try and do it really irregularly. We'll see. But that's like at the bottom of the current project style new things to try pile. Anyway, finally it's time to move on from news item 1. That took a while, didn't it? We're going to move on to news item 2, something I like to do in all my news videos, and that is to thank all new subscribers who arrived since the last official thanking of subscribers event, which would have been in autumn 2016, as I mentioned. So to roughly 2,000-ish people who can all hear me right now, I assure you, a massive thank you for subscribing to the Offy-D channel. You did the right thing, and this will probably be confirmed to you in the afterlife or something, so just keep hanging on if you aren't sure, right? I think I can guarantee that, I'm not totally sure. And while we're thanking people, massive thanks to the OfficiallyDevin patrons, who I really don't thank enough, and they're basically carrying everything right now, and I don't think like I've made that as clear as I could have. So if you're watching Offy-D videos, you are almost entirely indebted to the awfully lovely patrons of the OfficiallyDevin channel, who patronize the channel, if that is the correct term, and I'm fairly sure it isn't, and thus allow it to exist. YouTube's been in the trash for a while. It's been going downhill for years. It's gone really quickly downhill over the last 6 months. So it really is viewer support that actually makes these videos still be appearing in any kind of scheduled and regular pattern. So a massive thanks from me, and a massive thanks on behalf of the audience to you, the OfficiallyDevin patrons. You probably know who you are, and people may know who you are as well if those people have been looking at the credits of various videos where they are mentioned. I was thinking of throwing in, as well as saying thanks for watching, actually saying out loud thanks to the patrons, to make it a little bit clearer that it was them, and they might feel a little bit more appreciated. I don't know. And by the way, this section is an advertisement for my Patreon, so you should check it out, especially, or perhaps only, if you happen to be devilishly wealthy. Some of you must be devilishly wealthy. And yeah, basically, it is completely carrying everything. So massive thank you for me, and massive thank you from the videos as entities to the people who make those videos exist. You gave birth to them. Quite directly, I assure you. While we're here, other couple of milestones to highlight in the Offy-D journey, the Offy-D adventure. We've passed now 3 million total views, which is a number, isn't it? I think we can all agree. Over 1,000 videos, that sounds a lot more like a number, doesn't it? That sounds more significant. Over 1,000 videos. I think my 1,000th video was some random Pokemon Let's Play episode because I didn't realise and hadn't planned to make it anything significant, and I still don't. We'll see what happens at 10,000, shall we? And the other milestone is that we've passed over 5 years of activity. I'm lying, actually. I think we're just about to hit 5 years, probably in like 1 or 2 weeks. Or maybe. I can't remember when this video is coming out. But yeah, 5 years of the Offy-D channel. I am truly a veteran YouTuber, yo. I've seen it all except the stuff that happened in the 5 years before those 5 years. I've been here for the second half of the YouTube media's growth. I saw in the second half the more famous part, so that's what's really important, isn't it? And actually next week I am going to be doing a little 5-year retrospective. I'll mention at the end of this video, because now we need to very quickly move on to the next news item. And by the way, the news right now is getting increasingly irrelevant, so feel free to leave. This is really for the Offy-D shareholders among you who really want to know what's going on behind the scenes and what my thoughts on the whole thing are. Anyway, so news item 3 is we're going to do a little bit of a review of This Is Content, the series which you have probably noticed on the channel and probably constitutes the most, the majority of my video releases by video, or not by time. And yeah, so that was announced in the last channel news video, I think. I was like, oh, I should do this, as a response to realizing that I should do this. and that was after releasing Massalia Tales. I was like, oh, when you release more videos, everything gets better, including all the other videos. So maybe I should actually do more videos like YouTube keeps telling me to. Like, really, you want to go for a daily release? but we haven't quite managed that yet. So anyway, yeah, it was just basically there to get YouTube juice. It needed to be something that can be done quickly, and we've managed to make it something that can be done quickly. It's live Let's Play with a focus on entertainment commentary, and at this point, like, now that I kind of matured in the style, it's got to the point when it contains almost no gameplay commentary whatsoever. It's basically just me screaming and swearing at people in a recording. At first, it was a little bit more cynical, the production of this series. Like, there would be things in the episodes where I, like, while editing it, be like, I don't think this should be in the episode. However, it makes it longer, so we'll just leave it in, even though it's not particularly entertaining or necessary to the kind of vague plot of what's happening in the episode. So, yeah, it's got a little bit more kind of tighter as it's gone on. That means it takes a little bit longer to make, because I'm taking, like, up to like 2 hours of footage to make one 10-minute video, but it's still relatively quick to make compared to everything else, and it's more enjoyable to make it that way, and I think the results are better. You know, it's been an interesting journey coming through this as content for me, because as someone who was never particularly comfortable doing live commentary and doesn't like it, just kind of like as a tool of the medium, to be doing it and trying to get to the point when I feel like, yeah, this is good live commentary, that's been interesting. I feel I've gotten much more into it and I'm more comfortable speaking lively like that. Still not comfortable coming up with actual words and the sentence construction, but that's more a matter of, you know, education, which we're not going to be getting at this late stage in the game, so it's too late. It's too late for that. Now, some of you might have thought something that I've been thinking, which is like, should this as content just be its own channel? Because in kind of like an organizational sense it should, because it's completely like split from my main work. Like, it's just happening alongside it, but it has a completely different tone, and it's almost aimed at a completely different audience as well, so it's just there. And I feel like it should be on a second channel. However, I've been very much advised against it, and I guess the thing is, remember that this is content kind of exists to serve the more produced videos, to kind of ride the waters that raises all boats, or whatever that saying was. You know, having those videos there makes the channel do better, including the other things. So putting them on a second channel may defeat the purpose of making them. However, it just creates a new purpose, which is that they are themselves valuable enough to be focused on as standalone projects. Which may indeed be true. I think they're mighty fine examples of live Let's Plays, although I think a live Let's Play is an inferior genre to the narrative Let's Play and post-commentary Let's Play that I'd rather work on. So, you know, my opinion is split in various ways. Anyway, it's not a second channel, as you may have noticed, and it probably won't be. That's all I was going to say, but do feel free to leave your comments about that prospect and that idea in the comments section. So that's why they called it the comments section. And the only other question I wanted to ask of you is, for people who aren't interested in this as content, is it helpful, like, is it sufficiently helpful to have them marked, like with the tick in the title and the thing on the thumbnail, so you can easily dodge them? And if you do dodge them, does it stop recommending them to you? Because I tried to kind of give them all the same tagging a little bit, so YouTube will kind of link them together as a lump thing, that this is content brand videos. So what I was hoping would happen was, if you didn't want to watch them, they just wouldn't appear at all, but my normal videos would, because YouTube would kind of detect that you never watch the video that has tick in the title and this is content in the tags. I don't know if that's how it actually works. Probably not, but you know, let me know if that in any way happens or works, because I can't really see it myself. Anyway, so that's This Is Content. It's very interesting. We'll be soon coming up to 1 year of the This Is Content project, and as I said, I was thinking of making like a best moment, so like the favourite things that have happened in those series, that, in my own opinion, of course, in order to promote it or something. And I might do that now while I'm in between series, since that might take a bit of time. And then we can go back to This Is Content just being done very much on the sidelines. So that's the end of that news item. The final main news item for this news video is very much a follow-up from a news item in the previous video. I think it was the previous autumn news video, where I talked about the fact that I had grown a big carrot. And I'm sure all of you are wondering, did I repeat that this year? And the answer is not really. Not really. Got some small carrots. Got some pretty terrible looking carrots around the place. I'll probably find a picture, or manage to get a picture using advanced picture taking technology onto the screen. Yeah, but we are a little bit earlier in the year than we are last time, so the ones still in the ground may grow to be bigger. And we have got some other things as well, like onions. We've got some big-ass onions coming around. Courgettes. Anyone interested in courgettes? I don't think anyone's interested in courgettes. Even the courgettes aren't interested in courgettes. Suicidal bastards. So, yeah, that's what's happening on the vegetables front. Make sure to check in next year for next year's news video to see if I can top the terrible performance of this year. Everything died, didn't water things properly. It was a bad year anyway because I had a dry spring and it just messed everything up. It messed everything up. So what we're going to do now is call the news video to an end as rapidly as possible. This time next week, I'm going to do the thing that I mentioned a little bit earlier, which is doing a 5-year anniversary video of some kind. It's not going to be very good. It's going to be pretty much something like this video, where it's me rambling. So I'm going to kind of ramble the story of the Offy-D channel from the beginning to now, and just cover some of the insider perspective on what inspired things to happen. So, I mean, the video will only really make sense if you kind of know quite a lot about the channel already, so it's not going to be very good. But I felt like I had to do something, and we're in between series right now, so it's a perfect time to do something. And it might be interesting, I'm going to try to make it interesting, so you can treat that as another podcast style video coming soon, and it might end up being very long, depends how rambly I get. So that's that, and then the week after that, of course, we are going to be starting the new Shogun 2 NLP series, the new main big thing. It's been much more fun to play that campaign than previous things, and has lots of interesting moments, so I think it's going to come out pretty good, although I haven't really started making the bulk of it, so it could be terrible. Well, you better tune in to find out. There's no better reason to tune in, of course. And all the while, we're going to have some more Fields of Mars, we're going to have some more This Is Content spewing out left, right, centre, up, down, and perhaps, if you're not careful, behind you. So keep an eye out for that. Anyway, can't even keep this outro snappy. Let's cut it down. All I'll say is thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next thing that features me, that you see. So have a lovely period of time until then, and of course, look forward to all the new stuff, and one day a new channel news video coming very soon. Sayonara.